What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Prophecy Podcast. I'm your host, Obesetheprophet. Tonight, we're missing, at least for the time being, our typical co-host, my cousin Justin Martin. He's not here right now. We're running a little late from what I heard, but he'll get here. Yeah, we're excited tonight about the episode. We got a Bars Over Bars affiliate, Whooshy Gang, master MC extraordinaire / producer / does everything. So yeah, we're excited to welcome Libsy in. But first, I want to get to just shouting out as usual the sponsors of the podcast. So the Prophecy Podcast is proudly sponsored by NPCstuff.com. NPCstuff.com has hundreds of replacement and upgrade products, and for any MPC or other Akai machines, they even do Native Instruments machines. They got fast shipping, quality products, and I stand behind everything that they put out 100%. And I do respect our our partnership tremendously. So shout out to NPC Stuff. Also, the podcast is sponsored by I Regret Nothing Apparel. Some of the highest quality materials, the social messages that they put on their apparel and the designs are out of this world. We're proud to have them as a sponsor. We stand behind them 100%, and I absolutely love that they are a Black-owned Maine small business. It doesn't get any better than that. So our smoke break segment, as always, is brought to you by Fire on Fore, which is located at 367 4th Street in the heart of Portland's Old Port. They got ultra fine cannabis. We know that. They're super friendly and knowledgeable if you have any questions. And of course, you got to have your med card to go in there. So make sure you've got that. And be sure to check out Elevate Music, going through a rebranding as we're starting to shoot more music videos now, going to be Elevate Audio Visual. But yeah, check them out. We do music promo, distribution, social media promo, SEO campaigns, promotion, all kinds of stuff like that. So go to elevatemusicllc.com and check them out. Last but not least, of course, Bars Over Bars. Without them, it wouldn't be possible. It's brought to you each and every week by them. We can't thank them enough for the support, and we continue to expand this content and build the brand. So without further ado, let's bring in our guest for tonight. That's Libsy.
Yo.
What's
happening? What up, dude?
Same old shit, just a different day, different Sunday,
I feel that.
Yeah. But yeah, man, we've been waiting for this episode for what seems like forever,
Since the show got its inception.
Right. Since we started first talking about it. Which was, it started this is be the 6th week, which is crazy to think it's already been 6 weeks, but at the same time, it's also like hasn't been that long, but it's like,
true.
It's flying by though, for me at least. I know you're doing the same thing. Are you in your 6th week too with your show?
I think so, or at least the show is in its 6th week, but I'm in my 5th.
Right.
Because Paranormal did the first week.
Yeah. But still, same time frame, and I think we're doing pretty well as far as that's concerned, but yeah, usually we start the show off with like a guest introduction, hometown self story, how'd you get your name, or how long you've been doing shit, whatever you just kind of want to tell us about your your story.
All right, so my name is Libsy from New Bedford, Massachusetts. I've been doing my shit since about I want to say 2010. But to be completely honest, 2010 me sucked compared to now. I'm a lot. I've grown so much as an artist. I've in the past 3, maybe 4 years. I think we're going on 4 years now. In the past 3 years, I've dropped, I want to say, about 11 mixtapes and 3 self-produced albums, not including mixtapes, not including like features and ciphers and shit like that, you know what I mean? I got my name from, actually, I was listening to Nipsey Hussle a while back, like when I first started rapping and shit, and my last name is Liberty, so I just kind of mixed the two together without adding the hustle part, you know what I mean? Not trying to be too cliche and too tacky, but came up with Libsy. and it just kind of stuck from there. You know what I mean? Everybody just started calling me that from there on in.
Yeah.
And I mean, shit. Truthfully, I grew up a metalhead. I want to say probably about like sixth, seventh, eighth grade is when I started doing like getting into like hip hop and shit. Cause I would listen to metal, like I would listen to what my mom would be listening to. My mom listened to metal, but she also raised me on like the Doors and fucking Jimi Hendrix and shit like that. So I was listening to all that, plus old 50s shit too. I love the 50s, 60s, 70s, like that whole era of music. Those 3 decades are fucking awesome for music, as well as the 80s too, but that's a whole different fucking animal on its own.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was uh, I would listen to primarily rock, but when I got an actual like radio that could pick up local stations in my bedroom, the rock station was the only one that couldn't come in. So I'm like, shit, what the fuck am I gonna listen to? I was like, I don't like country. I'm only like fucking 13. Like, I don't give a shit about country music, you know what I mean? So
Nice.
fucking the local top 20 station was the best thing that I had. You know what I mean? So I started listening to whatever was on the radio at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the Nellies and the fucking TIs and shit like that. So
Popular
fuck
music.
yeah. And then once I had access to the internet and was able to like really do my research on hip hop, that's when I fell in love with the older shit. The 90s, the New York era, the whole fucking West Coast wave. Like that was that primarily prefer the older shit, you know what I mean? Just because it was more authentic, it was more genuine.
Word, yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of great music made in that during that time frame, that era, or whatever. So, if people wanna find you, like, what's your at, like, what's your Instagram or whatever, so we can let them know what it is.
That's a good question. Let me look on Instagram. I don't even know my own at. It
Is
is at Libsy Official. Um,
all one word?
yep, Libsy Official on Instagram, one word, no underscores, none of that shit. You can find my music on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, fucking Napster, fucking TikTok, wherever you want to listen to music, my shit is there, guaranteed.
Yeah, guarantee for real. Yeah. So you've been making music since how old did you say you were when you first started making music?
I want to say I first wrote my first raps in 2010, and I was about 17.
Okay.
And I'm turning 29 this year, so
Okay.
roughly about 12 years or so. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
12 years.
but I didn't actually start like recording myself, producing myself, and like recording, mixing, mastering, producing all that shit until about I want to say about 3-4 years ago. I want to say it was
Yeah. Okay.
2018. 2018 actually was when I dropped my first mixtape, Catacombs.
Okay. So you honed the skills a little bit before you actually went and just threw something out there.
Not exactly. I
No.
threw I
So
I
you
threw
have
I
things out there that you're
I
like,
threw I threw I threw one trash project out in like 2012,
yeah.
and I did everything in my fucking power to delete it from every source possible on the internet. So
Uh, no, I
the
had
la-
I had music like that too. Like when I put out like, because I've been making music for a long time too. So if you think about it, like shit, I had music that was put out onto the internet in like 2000, 2001. That was just
fair.
me still in school. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, for years, like, how do I get rid of it? But I ended up getting most of the stuff I didn't want like people to hear anymore off of the internet. It wasn't too hard. But it did take some time. Once you put that request in, it seems like it takes forever for the music to come down. But like nowadays, it seems like the music goes up way faster than they can get it down.
See
Wow.
my issue was the I had uploaded it to DatPiff,
Hmm.
and I forgot the login for that account.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, how do I get in? And it was connected to an old Instagram that I don't have access to anymore. So I'm like, yo, what the fuck? How do I get into this goddamn thing? I was like, how do I delete this piece of shit? I ended up finally fucking one day. I'm just fucking around trying to dick around with passwords, and one of them just ended up working, and I'm like, oh, it's gone. I was like, here we go. This mixtape's gone.
Hell yeah, I think I got something on Dat Piff that I'm involved with. Maybe if I look up Obese the Prophet, it might be some shit still on there. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, what I didn't like, I have taken down. But it's all about the growth. And right now, I mean, you've kind of got like your own little niche. You know what I'm saying? As far as following, as far as style and shit like that. It's not the same as everybody says shit that you hear out there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people want to be this, they want to be that, and you know your sound is unique in that way. So, but right now, let's take a quick break. Let's welcome in the co-host who's a little bit late, but we're gonna welcome him in anyway. This person is Martin. What's up?
Hey, what up? Sorry, I'm late. I got kids.
It's all good, dude. I have cats. I totally understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you.
Yeah, glad to be here.
If you didn't know, this is Libsy. Libsy's from New Bedford, so
all right,
he's local there. You know, I don't know how close he is to you, but close enough, closer than me. So
yeah, it's about an hour. I'm in Randolph, so
you guys are
that's not bad.
You guys are compared to me, but just going over it. Libsy started making music back in 2010. Put out something in 2012. Didn't like it, just like stuff I put out. You know about that.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like, oh, this is trash. 10 years, 15 years later, tried to get it down. I did the same thing. We know how it goes. But he's made a lot of progressions, and he's carved out a niche and created a sound for himself. And
word.
We just for the introduction, and now we're moving on to the recent strange news discussion of the week. Do you have anything for strange news this week?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of related. What's up, Lucifer? So I don't know if you heard about this. I saw this in the New York Post. I'll say like Wednesday-ish, March 11, whatever March 11 was. Wednesday, I think it was. Maybe Thursday. Regardless.
One of those.
Yeah. Do you guys know about the apocalypse bunker that they have over in Sweden with all like the seeds and stuff?
Yeah, I feel like I do know about this.
Okay, so essentially what it is inside this mountain they've built like an underground bunker in case of a catastrophic event. They have seeds from every
seed, right?
Yeah, seeds from every species of plant on the planet. So on Thursday I came across this article in the New York Post about the scientists wanting to now put over 6.5 million sperm samples on the moon. So I don't know if you heard about this, but they're trying to do something like Noah's Ark and have 2 of every fucking animal and being on the planet. And they started talking about humans, like we got to get humans up there too, because we're a big part of the earth. And they were talking about building some sort of a similar kind of bunker on the moon to house all these samples of animals, people, who knows what. And they have like a diagram of it, and it looks pretty fucking cool. It's essentially an underground like tunnel, and they'll have solar panels to kind of power the whole situation up there. But it got me thinking like, what if an alien species had done that on Earth?
Oh, that's totally a theory, bro.
And like all the species that we have today came from another planet as a backup, Yeah.
I think maybe like monkeys were here already. I feel like they were here already. I feel like, that family was here already, like that whole thing. Yeah. And I feel like maybe we spliced some DNA with them along the way to make it seem like for a while we could stave off, they'd be like, oh, we evolved because we're so close to them. Maybe we were genetically modified or something that happened here, slave race or whatever. That's a good discussion to get into, because this is the perfect, time and place for that kind of shit.
What about this theory? What about this theory? You know how, Venus has this atmosphere that's super crazy with carbon dioxide, and it's like the hottest planet.
they've like landed a thing there for like 12 minutes or something.
Right. What if? Now follow me with this because it's going to be kind of crazy. What if humans originally came from Venus? They fucked up that planet so bad that they had sent, I don't know, a half dozen, couple hundred, who knows, to colonize the Earth. The comet or supposed comet that killed the dinosaurs was actually humans landing. And, over time, since they didn't have shit, they had to relearn how to live,
Yeah, that's a good theory. I like it.
And now we're trying to put our shit on the moon so it doesn't happen here. So
right, but I feel like another good theory is I'm kind of getting off topic here, but I feel like another good theory for that is like we've done this all before. Like we've gone how many hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of years. We've built a society like this, and then 20,000 years has gone by, and all of it's disintegrated, and we wouldn't be able to tell. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And maybe we've irradiated ourselves or whatever, eradicated, and we've all passed away, and everything just turns back to dust. And next thing you know, the aliens come back, drop some new shit down here, and they're like, "Hey, let's try again. We're gonna try it one more time. Let's see what happens."
Yeah, that's kind of like simulation theory, right?
Yeah, it is. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
Simulation theory, because you just think about what computers are at these days, and just in 1,000 years, what they could be at is just ridiculous. And then if you start thinking into that, you start thinking, if we have that powerful computer, we must be able to figure out time travel at some point. If we figured out time travel at some point, then that means we've probably already gone back in time. Because if we figured it out, then
we could do it.
So that blows my fucking mind when we start talking about that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I do have a story though, kind of weird, strange story. It's not as crazy as yours, a little more funny than crazy. But so Spanish drug smugglers build a submarine out of plywood, right? This submarine carried 2.2 tons of cargo, or $500 million of cocaine. The police found the plywood submersible before it launched on its maiden voyage. Worldwide, the war on drugs has done more harm than good. It's caused mass incarceration for substance charges, driven up the price of illegal substances, and caused violence and conflict worldwide. And while I wouldn't call this story necessarily a bright side of illicit drugs, it does cast drug running activities in a zany "what will they do next" light, though. It does say that the Spanish police discovered them building a narco submersible in Malaga on the southern coast. It's massive, over 30 feet long, 10 feet wide, capable of moving that 2.2 tons of cargo at a time. But the vessel never made its maiden voyage. A civilian constructed giant submarine attracted a fair amount of attention, even in Costa del Sol. So the submersible was made out of plywood, obviously, and they coated it with fiberglass, just like you would a boat. They attached the fiberglass to a structural frame. It was blocky. Imagine it looking like a child's drawing of a submarine. They don't have a picture, they just describe it. It had 3 portholes, so all 3 smugglers inside, all on each side, they could all see where they were going. It had 2 200 horsepower engines and a crew that would operate the engines from inside the vessel. It didn't actually go underwater. It had iceberg construction where most of it was underwater and just a tiny bit of it was above the water where the windows were, so they could see out. But imagine the amount of time it went into this, and then to lose it
Right.
all. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's wild. But yeah, that's my strange recent news for the week or whatever. But yeah, moving back to Libsy, bro, what are we doing? We're talking about now. We're going to talk about like your first projects, which we kind of already did, and your influences a little bit. But you said you were into metal. Did you ever in school like play any instruments, or were you in like a band, or did you do anything like that? Or if you did, were you into sports? Like, what were you into like before you kind of did the music thing?
So, all right. When I was 8, I learned how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb on the guitar. And then my stepfather tried to teach me how to play the drums, and that went good for 20 minutes. And then I was like, nah, I guess I'm just destined to use my face. So fucking I wasn't really a big sports person. I did do like a summer camp thing for football because I was like, I do like playing football. I didn't expect to like have to be in full gear though. That wasn't cool.
Yeah.
But I was like, I mean, I did pretty well. But other than that, I just pretty much skateboarded for 20 something years.
Yeah. Well, that's a
Yeah,
sport. That's a sport.
exactly.
Fucking skateboard. I tried skateboarding here and there a couple of times, and I just wasn't built for it. I was more like basketball or baseball or whatever. I did play football a little bit.
I mean,
I like.
skate.
You got hurt a lot, and I felt like if I was going to skateboard, I'd get hurt even more. And I'm like, I'm not going to take the step up from that to that and just bang my shit up, because I was horrible like on my feet when it came to that.
See, it's funny. It's funny. I have better balance on a skateboard than I do on my own 2 feet still to this day. And I haven't stepped on a skateboard in fucking I don't know how long.
Word, man. Yeah, they're janky for me, man. But I can play basketball still, even though I'm like mad overweight now. I still like move around the basketball court because I like got that muscle memory. Like it looks awkward, you know what I'm saying? But it works. Like I can still play, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy to see though. So like yeah, it kind of sticks with you, especially when you do it for so long. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But yeah, what about your process of recording? Because I know it's not your typical process now. You talked about you're using BandLab and stuff like that, and I know that's a common thing for people to use these days. But have you always done it that way, or have you been to some studios where you've done it differently? Or
All right. So, all right. So a lot of people get fucking tripped up when I tell them. I for the past. All right. So 11 mixtapes, 3 self-produced albums. Pretty much anything. Actually, fuck it. Easy enough. Anything that has my voice recorded on it from 2018 to now has been done on my phone.
Yeah.
100% through BandLab.
Yeah.
Any beats that I've made, a good majority of them I've made on the computer, but I have made them in BandLab as well on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them have ended up on my album, or some of them have ended up in collabs and shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
it's not a matter of like. See, my whole thing is like, why fucking go to a studio to do what the fuck you can do at home for free? Like, I get it. Other people, I'm paying those people for their time, their knowledge. But if it's the same knowledge I can learn, why can't I just utilize my own brain?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Why not teach myself to do what they know? And then I don't have to pay anybody.
And then these days, it's a lot easier to just do it at home, But back when I came, and before 2018, what were you doing? How were you recording? Still at home, just not on your phone?
I wasn't recording at all.
No, okay.
I went from 2012 to 2017 because I was recording in 2017, then dropped stuff in 2018. From 2012 to 2017, I just wasn't recording anything. I was just writing stuff and writing.
Yeah, word. Yeah, because like the era I came up in, 2000s basically, 2000 to 2010. It was studios. And it was really hard for someone to get a home studio that was of any quality. You know what I'm saying? Like now you can go and you can get a Scarlett and fucking record at your house. Or get a MXL 990 and a Scarlett or some cheap combo. You can get an MXL for like $75, $79, and it sounds great. Your Scarlett, plug it in your computer, you're good to go. You're like less than a couple $100 recording. You know what I'm saying? Back then, the interfaces were different. It was like you had to buy like fucking Pro Tools packaged. Pro Tools packaged things, and it was like really hard to find anything that you couldn't operate off of not Pro Tools, and so it became pretty expensive. But then it started leveling off after 2010, and it really bloomed. But so from my experience, it was bouncing around, bro, like trying to find a spot to record. If you didn't have your own shit, which eventually I did, but early on it was like, where are we going to record? You hook up with these artists, you link up with them, and you're like, look, we got these beats, we got these raps, whatever. Where are we going to record them at? And then it becomes this game of reaching out to these places and getting a price on how much it's going to cost, and it just became a real fucking pain in the ass, So
exactly.
Shout out to doing it yourself and having the ability to record at your house on your phone, at your desk, on your computer, and then uploading it online, mixing it down, and even if you're not that good at mixing and mastering, you can just put it on eMastered, or even BandLab I think has a mastering thing. You drag and drop, your shit is mastered, you throw it up on Spotify or whatever through your distro, and in 2 weeks you got your song from you recorded it at your fucking desk or on your phone to it's up online. Back in the day, it's actually almost unheard of to have shit happen like that. So
right.
Yeah,
That's why. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm saying it just has come a long way. That's all.
Facts. I was gonna say that's why I'm utilizing that kind of like method of easily uploading shit that way. Because since the beginning of the year, January 1st, because it was on a Friday, my plan was to drop a new song every single Friday this entire year. Because the year starts on a Friday and it ends on a Friday. And I did, and a typical year is 52 weeks. This year has 54 weeks because of the extra Fridays. So,
damn.
Yeah. So
That's
I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna utilize those 2 extra Fridays. That's 54 releases instead of the regular 52. So I've been dropping a new song every single Friday this entire year, and they've all been on Spotify. They've all been uploaded months before.
Damn.
And stuff too, and then some, because you've been dropping other songs. We got a song we dropped back on March 5th that you had dropped a song the same day too. So you're dropping more than just one song every Friday, which is fucking crazy.
And I've got even more songs sitting just waiting to release because I'm working on my next mixtape.
Yeah, so planning is good on your end. That's definitely working out.
Grind mode.
But yeah, so moving on. So we talk about like favorite unexplained phenomena. It's a good time to talk about anything you might be passionate about, whether it's like, whatever the paranormal or unexplained phenomenon you're really into, whether it's like Bigfoot, zombies, ghosts, HARP, or fucking UFOs, or fucking any kind of conspiracies or whatever. What stands out to you the most out of all that shit?
I'm really big into like UFOs and ghosts. Like not so much UFOs because I don't give a fuck about the spaceship. I'm talking actual aliens and shit. You know what I mean? Like actual things I can be afraid of, not just a disc in the sky.
Right.
And then like ghosts and like the paranormal side of spirits and demons and shit like that. Like I've always been fascinated by that. I don't want to deal with it myself, but I've been fascinated from afar.
Ghosts is crazy. Like wild demonology is all fucking crazy. I was watching these people were. I don't know if you heard about this, but there's this shit called like a Dybbuk box or some shit like that.
Oh God, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
People fucking sell them on eBay and Amazon, and I was looking at some videos on. I was looking at some videos on YouTube, and this guy was like, I'm doing an unboxing of a Dybbuk box that he bought or whatever. And, it was very convincing. I don't know if it was real or not, but it was very convincing the way that he opened this up, and it was acting, and he had like an EVP reader, and he was like putting it everywhere in the whole fucking room, and he put it on the box, and it was going off. And then when he opened the box up, he unsealed it and opened it up, and he had the same reader. He stuck it in the box to see what was making the noise, and he moved it everywhere on the box, and it didn't make the fucking noise again. And he's like, what the fuck? And it didn't make the noise again. And then like the light, something fell off the wall behind him, and he got freaked out and ran out. And he comes back with a new video, and he's like, I don't know what happened, but this was a person who claimed he didn't believe in it. He was just thought it was a joke, and he didn't believe in it. Well, apparently something got out in his fucking place and was like knocking shit off the stuff. And he said it had a bad smell.
That is why I'm fascinated from afar, because I don't want that shit anywhere near my fucking crib.
He didn't believe in it. He didn't believe in it, but he had an EVP.
Because he's a YouTuber.
Good catch.
He didn't believe in it, so he bought the box, and he bought the EVP, and he bought even some other stuff, and he had it all there, different cameras. He had like an infrared camera. Dude, this was a good one. It kind of convinced me. Now, it could have just been a full-on production, but for me, it got me looking into it, like, what is a Dybbuk box, and why the fuck are people trying to buy it? You know what I mean? Why would you want to?
Yeah, I think that's big in Jewish culture. The Dybbuk box.
They cast out the spirit, and they put it inside the box.
Yep.
And it could be any kind of spirit, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, he had one of those things that the thing that catches the voices. It's like, and it's like he caught it saying some shit, like, let me out, some shit like that. And he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna open this." He says, "Wants me to let it out." He just fucking opens it up, and that's it's going crazy. And he's out of his own house, scared to go back in.
Dude,
He's like,
fuck that.
But I thought that was some wild shit. And I watched like Ghost Adventures Artifacts. It's about their little museum they had. They had a season about it or something, and they went over some pretty cool shit on there. They have like a museum in Las Vegas with a bunch of artifacts they've got from their ghost hunts and that they've acquired and shit. And they host the show there, and he's like in the back room and he's speaking to people about certain objects and shit. And some of it was really creepy, dude. Like one of the doll's eyes moved and shit when it was sitting in the chair across from him. He was asking it questions, and the lady left the room because she didn't want to be there while he asked the doll questions. And it was sitting there, you know, and he's got cameras at all the angles. And he was asking it questions and just wouldn't stop firing questions at this thing. And it was sitting there like this, you know, and then all of a sudden its eyes just went. And he's like, looks at the camera. Did you see that? Yeah. And they ran out and they asked the control room, you know, control room guys, like, we saw it, but one of the cameras cut out and just like this, that. I was like,
oh shit.
Like, yeah, dude, it's like that kind of shit wilds me out. Like, I don't want to be involved in that in any type of way. Like, I said, from afar is cool with me. I watch videos here and there, and I don't really believe in like the religion of it all. I just believe in the energies and the, you know, the shit like that. I'm not really sure if it's like, you know, Jesus and whatever else, but there is definitely energy that we exude while we're here on Earth, and there may be other parallels and planes that we don't really understand and shit like that. And I feel like that may be more or less what it is. A spirit of some sort. You know what I mean?
Well, for myself, I'm kind of skeptical of a lot of this shit because of how easy it is to, you know, record yourself or doctor photos or alter, you know, video footage to show what you want to show. But at the same time, like some of this shit, you can't make it up, you know, and it is unexplainable.
I was actually going to say, I've had my own experiences with paranormal shit, like ever since I was little, even here in this apartment that I'm in currently. In this in this room that I'm in, I've had. All right, so wild story. So apparently, when the apartment that I was in when I was little, right? My mom used to live in that same apartment with her mom, and then they obviously like moved, left, and then apartment. Anyways, whatever. But when she was little, she used to talk to some lady in the backyard that had a white dress on, but she used to like talk to her all the time, and my grandmother would come out and be like, who the fuck are you talking to? And my mom would explain, oh, this lady, and then she'd be gone. Just see you later. But like later on when I was, you know, alive, when I was a baby, I'd be in that room. I'd be in like what would have been her room, and in the closet I always had like nightmares and shit in that room, and there was something about that closet. Dude, I had a Furby that fucking talked without batteries in it in that closet, and I'm like, nah, this ain't good. I'm like 5 or 6, like, nah, this ain't good, bro.
I don't like Furbies anyway, so like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. They're already Satan spawns. So fucking come to find out, I guess the story was, there was a guy that lived in that apartment, and he was, you know, seeing this girl. The girl was having an affair on her husband, like with that dude, and the husband came, killed the dude in the closet, and then caught her in the backyard. And I'm like, that's a little sketchy. I found that out years later. This apartment, right? This apartment though. The room that we're in right now used to be my bedroom because I used to have roommates and shit. Now it's just me and my wife. This used to be my bedroom. So me and my she was when she was just my girlfriend at the time, she came over to sleep over. Fucking we're laying in bed, and I have one of those fans that kind of just sits stationary. That's not like the ones that have like the extra piece over here. It's just the whole thing's a fan, and it stays in place and goes like this. Fucking we're laying in bed, and all of a sudden the fan just stops. And where'd Justin go?
He dropped connection. Bring it back in.
There you are. I wanted to. No, it's cool. I wanted to wait. Um, so it was one of those fans that goes like this. So we're laying in bed, and it stopped. It just stops. It just stops all on its own. The remote is on the other side of her, by the way, who's cuddled up next to me.
Dead stop? Is it like dead stop, or does it like slow down and stop?
No, like it turns off.
Okay.
And I'm like, the light is completely off. The fan just like it's completely off. So I'm like, are you fucking serious? Can you turn it the fuck back on, please? No word of a lie. Like just like that, turns right back on. Fucking never done that once before. I had the fan for at least a year before that had ever happened.
Whoa.
So I know for a fact that wasn't that was no fucking feature. I've seen before I had cats and whatnot, like before I had like all the cats that I have, because I have 3 now. When I first moved in with my original roommate, her mom stayed with us when she came back from California. She stayed with us for about a month. We were watching TV in the living room, and it was me, her mom, and my roommate's cat. All 3 of us, like 10 in the morning, bro. All of a sudden we hear, and I'm like, the fuck is that? We look around the wall to see like next to the door, and there's a cereal box. Like, say this is the floor, it's just sitting upright. No idea why the fuck that cereal box is there. That cereal box was nowhere near there. And it's just sitting in the middle of the room, like not next to anything. Fucking, I've seen shadows walk around and shit in the house. So like I know there's shit in here. I know there is. I just try and be like, you're cool. You don't fuck with me that much, so we're good. Just do your ghostly shit. I'm cool. We're cool. I'm not gonna try and cast you out. We good. But other than that,
we good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught the episode that I talked about me and my cousin Nick, who we grew up with, me and Justin and stuff. He used to live in this old creepy house that was probably built in the I think it was like late 1700s. Had like a fucking dirt basement. You know what I mean?
Oh
that
shit!
Was like dirt basement with those big granite rocks to hold up the building and shit on the
far side.
And it was an old big house. I think it had his side, because they split it into a duplex had 3 bedrooms. So this whole house probably had 6 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, whatever it was, 3 bathrooms.
Huge, one of those old, huge farmhouses.
But yeah, it wasn't on a farm. It was in the middle of Saco. But yeah, it was definitely like a.
Well, back when they built it, it was a farm.
Back when they built it, it was a farmhouse. But you know what I'm saying? They split it into a duplex. It was big, it was old, had an attic, had a nasty basement. And one time, in particular, there's a couple of weird shit that happened in there, but one time in particular where he gets the bright idea. Now we're in like, I think 3rd, 5th grade, in that fucking range somewhere, 3rd, 5th, 4th, 6th, whatever. He's like, let's go down to the basement, because he thought since the basement was all like dirt, cold, like moist dirt, that he could dig a fucking like little fire pit down there and try to have a fire down the basement, right? So he gets some and shit like that, and we start having this fire. I'm just going along with it because it's like, it's not my fucking place. I don't care. And he's telling me to do it. He's my older cousin, I'm like, whatever, let's go. So we go down there, start making this fire and shit, and we're like in this room, and you come down the stairs. They're very steep, and you get to the bottom of the stairs, and you can't go forward. It's like this old half granite wall, and the rest was made of wood. You know what I'm saying? And there was 2 doorways. So you get down 2 doorways, and it was dark in those doorways, but you could see through them. There's doors, no doors on the hinges, but there was door frames there. And so we're sitting there, and you can see through both doors. And I keep looking because I just am creeped out. You know what I'm saying? So I keep looking into the doorways, and I can't see anything because it's pitch black. We only have one light above us that's giving us light, and the fire he's trying to build down there with the matches. And it's just a pull string light, you know what I mean, right above us. And I'll never forget how fast he fucking ran when he heard the sound come from the room, which, I mean, it could have been anything, you know what I'm saying? But we heard a sound come from one of the rooms that was dark, and he fucking literally bolted so fast and left the fire going. I had to stomp on it before I ran upstairs because he just took right up. He heard that shit, and he looked, and as soon as he looked, I knew he was going to bolt. As he looked, and he was like, "Cuz, you hear that?" And I said, "What?" He fucking ran when I said, "What?" He was already up the fucking stairs. So I was like, "Damn, stomping on the fire." I run up the stairs, right? He gets all freaked out when he comes to the top of the stairs. To the left was the kitchen. To the right was like the dining room into the living room. He ran right into the dining room, living room, and just I followed him. I came up the stairs and I ran in there. And he's like, "Did you hear that, cuz? What was that?" And we're standing there in the living room talking. He's asking me, and I said, I thought I heard something. Yeah, but it was like trying to rationalize. It could be anything. He's like, I don't know. It was really weird because it sounded like someone was crunching around in there, like walking. And I'm like, I don't know. And then he hears, well, we heard it, the like sound of like silverware in a drawer, almost like it was just being moved lightly, like someone was taking the silverware and it was just, you could hear it like moving. And he's like, you hear that? And we go to the fucking kitchen, bro, and peek around the corner, and every one of the fucking cupboards and drawers is wide open. Every one of them.
No,
and
I would have left.
Out of the
no
house.
adults there. There was no adults there at that time because they were working, and we had just the school was right there. We literally it took 2 minutes
right across
to walk
the street.
from school. And so we had walked home that day, and that was what we were doing. And we got so freaked out that we went outside and we stayed till our parents came back. Tried to tell them, they didn't believe one fucking word that we said. But that was one of the last times I ever fucking set foot in that fucking house. I wouldn't go back. My mother was like, "You want to sleep over at Nick's?" No, I'm good. Not going there. Did you want to come here? It's cool, but I'm not going over there anymore. And there was a couple of times that were weird where we would be up in the attic, which is where my Uncle Mike lived, all the way up in the attic on the 3rd floor.
Okay.
And he would say there's some weird shit going on. But one time when we were there alone again, we were up there going through his shit. I don't know if we were trying to find Playboys or fucking weed or whatever we were trying to find. We hear like knocking on the floor underneath us. And that was like the bedroom downstairs on the 2nd floor. We hear knocking like someone's got a broomstick hitting on the fucking floor. So we stop in our tracks thinking our uncle's coming home up the stairs. So we bolt out of his room and we start coming down the stairs. And we get to the 2nd floor where the sound be coming from. There's nobody there. He's not there. Nobody's in the fucking house. That was before that incident with the fire and shit. And I was just attributed to he had a cat and maybe the cat jumped down and made the noise. Like, I always tried to attribute shit to shit like that. But he was the one who always flew right off the handle. Fucking ghost, bro. The fucking ghosts are here. They're trying to get me. He used to always make sure this fucking closet was closed. You know what I'm saying? Same with me. I couldn't sleep with the closet.
Well, it just goes to show you, like, what other things happen in there that he never told us, Like maybe some other shit went on and he's freaked the fuck out, and he just never wanted to say anything to us about it.
Yeah, he was freaked out a little bit because every thing flew it off the handle, and I think he tried to normalize it like I did. But I think that for him, especially because he was alone a lot, he probably fucking saw a lot more shit. But yeah, that house always freaked me out. Other than that, there was a couple incidences that were weird and shit like that went on. But I'm really into ghosts and UFOs and aliens in particular as well. So yeah, right along the same lines as you. I think werewolves and like Sasquatch is cool too. Sasquatch is like something I like to watch the shows on, to watch how hard people try to find them and never do.
Yeah.
I feel like it could still happen, but like, damn, we should be getting there by now. Like, we got to be getting close. You know what I mean? If it's gonna happen, it's got to be soon. So
at some point.
But yeah, so typically we do like a pick 3. So like right now, I'm just gonna fire off at you and just hit me back. It's no particular order. There's no right or wrong answers. But like,
oh god,
what are your top 3 artists of all time? It doesn't have to be hip hop artists. Just whatever your 5 favorite artists are. And,
fuck.
Painters, filmmakers, whoever.
Favorite artist of all time. Oh man, and you're only giving me 3 slots. This is fucked up. In no,
you can pick 5.
All right, cool. In no particular order. I'm gonna have to go with Jim Morrison of the Doors.
Yep.
Shit. Gonna have to say Lil Wayne.
Yep.
Damn, this is interesting.
It is. It always is.
I caught this question on the last thing, and I'm like, oh, I got this. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't fucking got this.
Paranoia's like, Oh, he was under pressure. He was like, I don't know, I'm gonna leave everybody out. But yeah, it's like a question you just fired off. Like who you it doesn't even have to be like all time list. It'd be like who you listened to this past month that stuck out in your head. Top 5 from like this past, because it's fluid. Like I always say, my favorite songs changes depending on my mood and who I've been listening to recently. So like favorite, I'll say favorite, not all time, just favorite, like what you've been listening to recently, top 5, whatever.
What I've been listening. All right, that's a lot easier to do. What I've been listening to top 5 recently. That's a lot easier. All right, so I'm gonna have to say in no particular order. Shakewell, Ramirez. I'm gonna have to say fucking Oliver Francis. Been listening to a little bit of fucking what's her name? Gloria Estefan. Fucking I'm every woman. Fucking banger, bro.
Bangers.
And fucking I've been listening to a lot of sea shanties lately. So
all right.
I've been digging the sea shanties.
Word. So a lot of different shit there.
All over the spectrum.
Word. And so how about top 5, since we can be wider with, but like producers or DJs or top 5.
All right, this is the one that I was like, I got this. All right, I have to say Jay Dilla.
Yes.
First and foremost.
Number 1.
Fucking Tyler the Creator, because he is known for producing quite a few beats as well. Yeah. Kanye West is always first and foremost going to be one of my favorites of all time. Yeah. Fucking New Jabes is always dope, and then Flying Lotus is a monster.
Oh yeah, I like Flying Lotus too, for real. Yeah, Jay Dilla for sure is on my list too. Kanye kind of got pushed off the list a few years back just because he's not really putting anything out recently, but I do still respect everything he did back then and how he really brought sampling back, but then he really went away from it again and he did some different shit, so I respect him for that.
He did. I was say he at least opened the doors open for like people like me that like the sample and shit like that too.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So all right. So what are like some of your non-musical like hobbies? Like what do you do that has nothing to do with music on your free time and shit?
All right. I have to say Pokemon is my fucking life, bro. I love Pokemon so goddamn much. And that's not even bullshit. Like I like to competitively play online and shit. I have I think like 7 different teams set up. I've been playing ever since the first games, ever since Red, Blue, and Yellow. So I've always been a massive fan. Other than that, I kind of just like to watch different shit on YouTube, different shit like I'm really fascinated with Disney history. I really like rides that never happened, or like sections of the park that never got to be built, and like why they fell through.
Close down that you can like that's still there that you can like hidden shit. I've seen some cool shit about that too on YouTube from time to time. It got pretty interesting during the early COVID times when you're running out of shit to watch. I was on some fucking tangents, but yeah, very interesting stuff, especially if you get into that, like the stuff that was built and abandoned. What was that, Fantasy Island or whatever thing that they did?
Some shit like that, yeah.
Like had this whole huge thing built and they kind of abandoned it in like the late 70s because of something about the water or something was bad and people were getting shit on their
really
skin.
Sick.
Yeah. Crazy shit that has happened there that you don't really hear too much about, especially because a lot of it was dated before our time. Fuck yeah, man. That's cool as fuck. Like, how about like, are you into art at all? Like doing any like painting or like graffiti or like drawing or anything like that? I know sometimes that goes hand in hand.
My art skills are shit.
Same with me. Yeah, I'm totally like can't barely draw a fucking stick figure. I'm into video games though too. So like I'm on PlayStation 4, play fucking Call of Duty, NBA 2K, and GTA and fucking Red Dead and shit like that, open world shit, stuff like
See,
that.
the most open world I'll get is Skyrim, honestly.
Yeah.
Never really been a big GTA person. I was big with like Call of Duty, Black Ops and Black Ops 2 and shit. But other than I am a big Need for Speed fan, so I do like the racing games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
racing games are pretty dope. Yeah, I just feel like it's like recycled. You know what I'm saying? I would get Need for Speed, and you could just say it's Need for Speed, whatever the fuck, because they're all pretty much the same in a way, which
Yeah.
can be bad. It just I have super ADHD, so I find myself sometimes, especially with being locked down and being in the house so much, I'm like, I'll go out and I'll play a video game for like, I'll go on, I'll play NBA 2K, I'll play one My Career game, which is 9-minute quarters. Right, I play on 9-minute quarters on there, so it might take a half hour and I'm done. And I'm like, I don't want to play another game, and I'll quit that. And I might come to the room and make beats. You know what I mean, for like a hour or a half hour. And then I'm like, what am I gonna do now? And I go back out there and I'm like, I'm gonna play some Call of Duty now. And it's like I can
Trust me, I wholeheartedly feel that.
It's like I find like I'm making a beat, and I'm playing Call of Duty, and I'm writing a song, then I'm doing this, and then it's like, yeah, definitely everywhere. Since having to be home all the fucking time is driving me absolutely nuts. Another thing I'm kind of into is painting and doing art stuff. I haven't done that recently, but I was waiting for my 4K camera to come in because I'm going to record it while I do it. You know what I'm saying? But I want to get some
no doubt
abstract things going. And I got a lot of space up on my wall over here. I'm going to try to fucking load it up. I got a bunch of canvases, a bunch of paint, a bunch of brushes and shit. Just have to actually have the time to set it up, and now that I got the camera, I'm fucking pumped, so I'm going to do it. But yeah, so that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I'm like, well, I do, and it's good to hear a little bit about what you like to do in your free time. So I want to ask this question. Before the pandemic hit, pre-pandemic, February and beyond, and before 2020, you were doing shows, you were doing grind mode ciphers and shit like that. How long has it been since you've done a show, and how eager are you to get back to doing shows again? Like, doing a show online is one thing or whatever, but like actually doing live shows, how eager are you to get back to that?
I think my last live show was the January before everything really like shut down, closed down. It was either January or December, one of the two. And needless to say, I'm fucking dying for a live crowd.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I need that energy. I need that spirit. I need that fucking just,
well, with the American plan that Biden had signed, they allocated a lot of funds for venues and for places that do music and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that prevents them over the course of the next few months while we try to sort this out from whatever businesses were close to closing that we might have lost. I hope that this can keep them afloat, and ones that may have already closed, I hope that this money can help them and bring them back, because doing live shows is important. And for me, live shows wasn't as important for me, being that I'm mainly a producer. That's my main focus for a long time, was making beats and doing things for other people. And recently I've been doing a lot more solo stuff and working with other people. So like shows for me is something I'm eager to start getting back into too. For me, I was like ramping up what I was doing around that time and thinking about doing this, and then this whole shit happened and it kind of just stopped that in its tracks. And so I'm anxious to get back to doing that too. And now that I've got the new camera equipment, I'm anxious to get to use that to film some live shows and get some experience with that, and just take the MPC out and fucking jam on that. Do some live sets with that.
I was gonna say, it's actually funny because I was actually in the middle of planning my own festival for August of 2020, right before the pandemic hit. So like I was already planning like some big shit. Fucking fuck. I had a whole train of thought that I was gonna say, and then I fucking just lost it. My fault. Damn.
You're playing a festival. We're doing venues.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't about the festival. It was about something else. But I just want to go back to live shows already. I'm not really looking forward to getting a vaccine.
Yeah.
I don't really want it, to be completely honest with you. I'm kind of good on that.
Okay.
But I still want to be able to do live shows. So I'm hoping that's not going to be some sort of conflicting thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm getting my vaccine the fucking day they say I can get it. So in Maine, it's May 1st now. They moved it up from June 1st for me anyway. So I'm lining up as soon as they do that, because for me, I got underlying conditions and I just want to get it done. I want to be able to move about a little with a little more confidence. And I feel like if I get that done, it will help me, not only me, but other people I'm around too. I could be like, hey, I got my vaccine and I've had a negative test, whatever. I think that goes a long ways. Still, no matter what, I'm practicing social distancing and probably masking up until fucking September, October, maybe even into next year. If I'm vaccinated, I'll probably still do it, because at this point, I'm used to it, and I really don't care. To be honest with you, I like wearing a mask. Fuck that. I go everywhere with my mask on. I got a Gucci mask. I got a Nike mask. I don't care. It's an accessory for me. I'm like, whatever, throw a mask on. Mask on, like Future said, right? I really don't care, to be honest. But to each his own. But I do think that the vaccine is only going to help everybody get back to normal again. So at this point, we've been doing it for couple months, whatever, and the trials. So we got like 4 or 5 months behind it now, and I haven't really heard anything. And I do look. I try to find like happening with it. And I don't really feel like too many adverse, effects have come from it. So I feel like it's relatively safe, and it's not like a traditional vaccine. They're using a lot of the antibodies and shit like that. And I don't know. It seems like it's working okay. So I feel like I'll be all right with it. And
maybe I was gonna say maybe after a year of it being pushed through, I'll be cool. But like I don't know, it's just way too soon. That shit came way too fast. I get it. People, that's their job, is to make sure it gets done fast. Like I get it. But like, I don't know, man. Let me just see some other people taking that shit first.
I'll be honest. I'm a teacher, and I got the first shot of the Pfizer shit. So I will let you know at the end of this month when I get the second one, how it goes, and if I grow a fucking third arm or some shit.
Word, I appreciate that. Or become a zombie. I've heard. I think.
And it did. How did it feel? Was it just like any other vaccine you had before? It's no different, right?
Yeah, the first shot is typically the milder one, from what I've heard. I didn't have any reactions to it. Like, it was sore if you touched it for like a couple hours, but that was it. Like, I didn't have a cough, I didn't have a fever, I didn't have aches or anything like that. So I'm good. But I heard the second one is a little bit more intense, and you do have flu-like symptoms for a day or so. So I will let you know what happens.
That and then getting COVID and potentially being laid up in a hospital and not seeing family and die.
Right, exactly.
It's one thing if you could be laid up in the hospital and you get to see your family while it's going down, but the fact that if you get in that hospital, nobody can come see you, that for me is too fucking much to you. Like, I'll be in the fucking house. You can catch me in the house till I'm vaccinated. I don't want to. The kids are good. I know that they're doing studies on the kids and kids this and that. Like, our school, no kids have gotten it. My kids are back in school now, and they were out of school from March of 2020 till March of 2021. They didn't even go to school. They were right here. So for the whole year, they were here. And they just went back, and then in the first couple of days going back, my daughter Brooklyn got sick with a common cold, right? Because she hadn't been around kids in a year. So she goes back, gets sick, missed a day of school, had to go get a fucking test just so it would come back. Jesus Christ. And then went back to school with the fucking runny nose and shit. And it's like, knew that would happen. I kind of figured that, you know what I'm saying? That's just how it goes. But if COVID's going to be around like they say it's going to be around, and we're going to need to be taking the yearly flu shot, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's what I'm not buying into. I'm not 100% sure on that. But to get out of the house and start this thing off right, I'm willing to try the first vaccine. If it turns out that we need a booster at some point, I might revisit how I feel about that then. You know what I'm saying? But I'll be a guinea pig. Fuck it. I'm 37. If I kick off now, it's whatever. No, I'm just kidding. Word. So, what do we got? 9 o'clock? Oh man, we are right on fucking time. All right. So, right now, this is where we normally would do the smoke break, which is brought to you by Fire on Fore.
I've been smoking this whole time.
Right. So now, this is the time of the show where you, the guest, may want to discuss a topic that you have you're passionate about. It could be a cause, it could be conspiracies and aliens like we talked about before, weed, whatever, or any questions that you would have for me or for the co-host. And we can also take a look in the chat. I don't know how active it's been, but if we have people in the chat and they have any questions, we can look at those too. But in the meantime, I'm gonna start warming up my dab rig to get this dab going.
Well, I do have actually a question for you, Obese.
Yeah.
So, you said you've been making music since about like what 1999? You said.
Yes.
Okay. My question.
I actually have his original like CD that we burned. Let me grab it.
Real quick to answer Lucifer's question, I actually just went to the dispensary earlier. I'm smoking on some LA Kush cake. It's fucking delicious.
Oh
I can go grab the. I was gonna say I can go grab the container in a bit. This bowl's actually almost kicked. It's a good thing I brought another. That's already packed. So so my question, Obese, since you've been making music since about 1999, what do you think are some of the? Oh, here we go. I was waiting for Justin to come back.
So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 discs of all the original shit. So motherfucker went to Texas. It was like 1998 or some shit. Went to Texas. I'm pretty sure it was Texas.
It was El
Paso. Came back with this shit.
Oh shit.
It's 17 tracks, and it looks like it's a lot of sampled shit.
It is.
Hot Stepper, Crazy Train, but 17 tracks on this. He came back from Texas. Yeah, I guess you did this at your grandparents' house, like
on their
fucking around.
Just kind of making beats and blending shit and a little bit of rapping.
Then with that, and I designed some of this shit. Like I designed this one. Comes back with this one. Again, This was like 19. This on the back says 2001.
Yep.
Oh shit.
So this was more original than the other one, but another 17 plus 2 bonus remixes. Look at that, 19 tracks. And then we got, let's see, December of 01. This one we didn't design, but another 15 tracks.
Oh, that's a good one right there too. That has the MDMA song on it.
Yeah, no, that one we bumped for years after that. And then we got 2002. Oh no, this one is the MDMA one. Yeah, 2002 was this one. Oh, yeah. And he's gone by different names over the years, but and then I got the old hype data. So all the throwaway tracks I got on there.
Oh shit.
I even got this one. You remember this, Ryan?
Fiction. Hell yeah.
Our uncle did a how would you describe it? It was like a mix between hip hop and
parody rap and
and we fucking fell in love with it. So that was 2000. So I have all the old shit.
That's fucking lit.
Yeah.
So my question, I was gonna say. So my question for Obese is since you've been making music since 1999, you've obviously been engrossed in hip hop since 1999 at least. You know what I mean? What, in your opinion, are some of the high points and the low points from when you started to now?
Ooh. For me?
Like in the industry as a whole. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to go and name off like 60 fucking accomplishments people have done, you know what I mean? But like, what in your opinion are some of like the best moments of hip hop, and what do you think are some of the shittiest moments of hip hop from 1999 to now? In your opinion.
All right, well, 99, I could have to leave some shit out, but if we go from really when I started listening to fucking rap was like 1994, 1994-ish, 1994. So if I go from then on, because that's when I remember the most shit.
That's perfect.
I remember some of my first album that I ever got, or record, was Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style, which I had on cassette.
Okay.
And I was like 9, almost 10 years old when I got that album. fully explicit, all that shit. My stepfather bought it for me at the music store. He had no idea what it was. I just threw it on the counter and he just bought it. And I'm like,
It's got a cartoon on the front. Can't be that bad, right?
Right, that's what he said. It had a cartoon on it. Just glanced at it. I was like, oh, it must be a kid's tape, and fucking bought it. And went about his day, but I was blasting that shit out the fucking window towards the neighbors. Like, oh, I'm in my room slam dunking on my Nerf basketball hoop and shit, you know, thinking I'm fucking all this. And so I kind of went from that era shit and, you know, Dr. Dre and the West Coast Snoop Dogg, all that shit was kind of like my thing. And then I think the high point in hip hop was around that time in 95, 96 when the whole West Coast thing was coming to a head and they just got Tupac and they were doing a lot of shit like that. And then, you know, at that point, they were doing like the BET Awards and Suge Knight came out and he was like calling out the other record label. You want to come be with a real record label? You come out here. That was like a high point because everybody that was like put on the national stage at that point. Everybody kind of knew hip hop was a huge thing, had a huge following, and you could kind of see that. And then the low point obviously happened after that. Tupac got shot.
Okay.
And all that shit. And so we went from being really high, thinking, you know, these award shows are getting really huge. It's really garnering a lot of attention. Major record labels are signing artists, like record labels that had never signed hip hop artists were reaching out, signing hip hop artists, fucking left and right. You know, Arista Records and like these weird R&B, you know, Love Face Records was signing rappers. You know, and they were all like R&B.
Yeah, they had Outkast.
Right. So it was a huge time for them, and then we had that low with Tupac passing away, and then we had you know, a year goes by and Biggie's gone. So we
not even, dude. No, it was like 6 months.
Right, in '97 he passed away in March, right? I think.
Yep.
So then, so that was our really low point, and that happened in '97, and then from there you kind of had the reemergence of Bad Boy, and you know, that whole era where they had Mace and Puff Daddy, and they were working with all kinds of people from Busta Rhymes and Mary J. Blige, and just really making what was considered pretty decent music at the time. It really brought hip hop to the forefront. It had that flashy fucking lifestyle. That was another high point where, you know, everybody was doing well. And then I feel like that continued on until the early 2000s, maybe 2006, 7, 8. Rap started being more auto-tune. A lot more Southern trap was being brought to the forefront, which at the time it has evolved and gotten better. At the time, it was like most of it was trash. You had like Young Jeezy, who was okay, and you had a couple of Southern rappers. Most of them were fucking trash. You know what I'm saying? Mike Jones, trash. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. I don't
call me up. 644. It just wasn't what it could have been. You know what I'm saying? But they evolved, and now you've got people coming out of the South that could undoubtedly, you know, hold their own with anybody else. So I think that the lowest point in that era was really when we lost Biggie and Pac. And then the highest points, there was a couple, and that was when West Coast was at its biggest. And the points for that would be G-Funk era, 95, 94, 95, 96. And then again, 99, 2000, when Dre dropped Chronic 2001, West Coast hip-hop was in full swing. But I think 97 up to 2005 was a golden era of fucking hip-hop, dude. He had a lot of stuff being put out by everybody, from all that Jay Dilla shit, Big L, fucking Nas, you know, Jay-Z was putting out monster fucking records and doing crossover fucking and hits, and his hip-hop song, H to the Izzo, was a crossover fucking pop song, was playing on pop radio stations, and you know what I'm saying, everywhere. So that was a high time.
That was a Yeezy beat too.
Yeah, and so it comes in waves, you know, in hip hop, and I think we're on a tsunami right now of fucking talent that has gotten to the point where it's starting to mesh the older mid 90s, late 90s, early 2000s style with that 2010 style. It's starting to come together and mesh back together, and you're getting a lot more people who are interested in the bars, and they're not fucking straight interested in just how it sounds. Is it groovy? Does it create a vibe, which you can get and still have bars? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think it has come a long way. And I mean, this is a great segue really into what I would normally be talking about next, which is the new rap versus old rap discussion. So while we're touching base on this topic, I do want to say there are new artists that I don't fuck with, right? But there are old artists I don't fuck with too. So it's I can never say which is better. You know what I mean? As far as sales concerned and how much money is being generated in the industry of hip hop music now versus in that time frame I was talking about, mid '90s to mid 2000s,
Yeah.
it paled in comparison. What you're making fucking quarter of a penny on the fucking dollar for what they were making back then on those record labels, but you had far fewer artists that were doing it. So there's more money. Now that you have more artists, the money is spread thinner. So I think that's one of the downsides of the new generation is you can't just be like a rapper used to be back in the day. And I want to say, two-dimensional or whatever, but it kind of was in a way. They wrote raps. They show up at the studio, producer already got the beat in there, and MC goes in and they just rap on a song. They walk out, they let everybody handle it, they make a music video, and everybody else handles it. They put it out. That's how it was. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of babying and like superstardom type shit. And now you got artists who are hungrier and artists that are doing their own music videos and artists that are recording themselves, and they take a lot more stake in their career a lot of the time. So like, they're not taking it for granted. You know what I'm saying? I feel that way anyway. I feel like there are artists that are out there just like little pump, like can't stand, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Like that was just like some lame ass shit. He was obviously just trying to make money, which may have worked. And if that's your goal, then whatever. But you're trying to do meaningful shit, you know what I mean? Then stick with that. But I just feel like
let me add on to that thought, because I think I can understand where you're going with that. Back in, the mid 90s, early 2000s, it was run by the industry. So the artists had to do what their managers and their producers told them to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like when we started getting into like the underground shit, like the early 2000s, and just what Rhyme Sayers was doing at the time, and all those underground artists, and they were hustling, but they were doing everything for themselves. They were producing it, they were writing it and recording it, they were mastering it, they were selling it hand to hand to the fans at their shows. Like that, they lived and breathed to be successful, and they did it on their own terms. And I feel like that
of all the shows and shit they had to do, it was ridiculous the amount of coordination it took to go literally across the United States. They didn't miss a place. They went from every state. We saw them in Maine, and we know they went to California and Washington. I saw on their tour. They were hitting fucking everywhere, working way harder than the major label artists people were working.
And I think that changed the industry, and it opened a lot of doors for talented people to be able to put out their own stuff and do it their own way and not have to rely on a label or a producer to do it for them. So I think in a way, it's freed the artist to be more creative, but the people that are going to be successful are the people that are pushing themselves to be at the next level.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
Big, it's going to be those guys that grind.
Yeah. It always is.
That's how I always thought of it.
But yeah, what's your thoughts on when you're doing live shows? I know it's a topic for debate, but some people rap over backing vocals, some people don't. What's your thoughts?
All right. I don't like to. It depends on what part of the song is being backed. The hook, in my opinion, doesn't matter. Like, I prefer if it depends on the hook realistically. If it's more of a vibey song, then it really doesn't matter if the hook's there or not. I prefer it to be there though, because it's it's supposed to hype the crowd up. I do like to have what I'll do is it'll usually be a 4-bar repeating. You know what I mean? It'll be 4 bars, then 4 bars, then the verse. So what I'll do is I'll do the 4 bars of the hook, I'll rap it, and then I'll leave in the recorded version with a voice, because I usually do a voice pitch on tracks and shit. So I'll leave the voice pitch in as well. And then when I go and actually perform, I leave the voice pitch in throughout the entire song. So that way I have that effect still. It sounds like as if you're listening to the actual fucking MP3, you know what I mean? It sounds like as if you're listening to it on Spotify.
Because of
I don't.
Effect, You need to do that in a way because of that effect where you pitch down your voice for the overdubs or whatever. If you took it out, it wouldn't be the same. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I was gonna say that from that hook that on that song that you were talking about, Dread or whatever. The hook was like that. And I heard that in there, and I was like thinking to myself about that specifically, like doing this live. How logistically would you pull it off? Basically, the only way to do it is to leave that ad lib in there and then do the hook over. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that makes perfect sense. And in that sense, bro, that's where I say exactly the same thing. I think while you're doing your verses, you could probably just hit that clean. But sometimes, like you said, there is hooks where you're gonna have special, like certain effects or certain painting that if you just do it, it's gonna sound flat. It's not gonna sound the same, and it won't have the same effect. So, I mean, I'm with you on that. Like 100%.
Exactly.
I know what it's like to, beef up your fucking hooks and do certain things to it. You want that to carry over to the live performance as well, but you got to find that perfect balance. For me, I think that sometimes just turning it down, you know what I'm saying, a little bit for the song track helps out a little bit too, so it doesn't overpower you. And then making sure that you got someone who knows what the fuck they're doing on sound and doesn't muddy your vocals up by leaving your fucking levels way too low and blasting the beat of the song, and then your ad libs come on and they sound like louder than you're trying to rap and you're fucking screaming into the mic and it's still not being loud. I can't stand that. That was one of my pet peeves, bro. Who's doing sound tonight? That'd be one of my first fucking things when I'm walking in. I want to talk to him. I want to know what mics they're using. I want to know if he knows about normalizing, hard limiting, and what he's got for a mixer. I want to know all that shit because doing live shows is a bitch, bro.
See, as long as my voice is louder by a little bit, I'll just ask him, like, if my shit's low, I'll just be like, hey, turn me up. Turn me up.
Yeah, you want to be up above the beat.
I'll be like, turn it up and then run the beat back.
Yeah, because I think doing a sound check is key. And I know so many motherfuckers and do so many shows, people never even come to a sound check. They just show up and then they get on and they wonder why they sound like shit. Telling you, doing a sound check is fucking crucial if you want your shit to sound right. Because a lot of times you'll get to a club and maybe they don't even, the guy who's running sound that day, never done a fucking hip hop show. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? What if he's the guy who normally does rock bands? You know what I'm saying? He doesn't know how to make your vocals stand up over the track. He's trying to blend it together more like a rock song would be. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to speak to people. Go in there if you want your sound to be a certain way and make sure you talk to people. And if you have special effects on your hooks and shit like that, I feel like sometimes you got to leave it. You can't always just take it all out and just give your voice box a workout for 30 minutes during a set with no breaks in between and think it's just going to rock out. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's why usually when it's like a 30-minute set for me, I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to do maybe like 6 songs, but because most of my songs are like 2 minutes long at most. You know what I mean? So I'll just do that 2-minute track, interact with the crowd, 2-minute track, interact with the crowd, 2-minute track, interact with the crowd, try and space up that so that way I actually have a chance to breathe and, catch my wind and shit. You know what I mean? And it also gets me a chance to, the crowd interaction. It makes it more of like an intimate performance. You know what I mean? This way here, the crowd can actually be like, yo, this dude's actually pretty chill. I might actually want to smoke a blunt with him after the show. You know what I mean?
On motherfuckers and shit.
Yeah.
And fucking throw that shit on people. I went with saw Action Bronson. I saw Action Bronson at the State Theater with my little brother back 20. I think it might have been 17 or whatever. He was on the White Bronco tour and he was fucking on stage. Bro, if you know Action Bronson's a fool, right? Just to be
hell yeah.
Stage. He was up on stage trotting around like Chris Farley did, like he was riding a fake horse. Or was that Adam Sandler or somebody who was trotting around like he was riding a fake horse on the thing and he was going like up on stage and shit like. And they were doing the sound effects like an old Western movie in between songs. That's what he was doing. And he had these big ass fucking water bottles. They must have been like 1.5 liter water bottles. And he had a 12-pack on stage, like over near the DJ booth. And he walked over like right off and fucking grabbed 2 of them, smashed them together, and the tops blasted off. And he went like this, was dumping them on his face. And then he fucking was winging the water all into the crowd and threw the bottle into the crowd. And was like, he would stop, bro. It was the fucking most hilarious show I ever watched. I was dying. I had the greatest
COVID shit.
Yeah, I had the greatest fucking seats too. In the State Theater, you can be down right next to the stage. You can be up on the second level, and I was up on the second level, first row, right in the middle, so I could see everything, you know. And he fucking would stand on the stage and just stare and not say a word, and it would be playing the fucking Western sound effects of the horse clomping and you know, and he's standing and he would just like, he'd have his shirt, he's sweating his balls off, and he just go for like forever, awkwardly, you know, and we're like, what the fuck's he doing? And then he'd bust off and another song would come on, he started rapping. And I remember at one point in the fucking thing, somebody threw some fucking weed concentrates at him from the crowd, and he was in the middle of rapping a song, caught it with one hand, put it in his pocket, and never missed a fucking beat. The motherfucker threw it, and he was like, wham, grabbed it, slid it in his pocket. I was like, this motherfucker, what? My brother had never seen anything like that. He'd been to a couple rock shows before, but he had never seen Action Bronson before. And that was a hell of a show. And that was the last, no, that wasn't the last show. I think I saw like Russ and Cameron after that and a couple other people. But before COVID, I used to see a lot of shows, and it sucks that I haven't. But yeah, moving on. I want to talk a little bit about what's your favorite song or favorite project that you've put out so far, like the one that stands out the most to you, like means the most to you, or you know, whatever.
Oh shit. Oh, this is a question. I would have to truthfully say I'd have to say probably my third album. My third album, truthfully, because I mean, yeah, I was able to do a whole bunch of music beforehand, but it really felt good to be like, yo, I've actually been able to produce 3 of my own albums. Like I've actually been able to do a lot of shit on my own, you know what I mean? It was kind of like that album was kind of basically me saying to myself, like, yo, you've come a long, long way. This is kind of like a victory lap for you, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Lucifer, I am actually pretty stoned right now.
Lucifer fucking knows. What's up, Lucifer? Good to see you in here again, my
And
friend.
I haven't even touched my fresh bowl yet.
So what and this is a good question that's written down over here. What are like some of your most popular songs or projects? And I think I can bring something in on screen here and just show what we got going on for this one song that you and I did, called Live Resin, which if you see on here, we as of today hit 7,800 plays.
Yeah.
Spotify.
So
Killing
that's a
it.
pretty. That's one of my most popular songs. I think my second most popular song at this point, actually. I know my Escape My Way single I put out early 2020 has got just about 20,000, if not 20,000 plays right now. That's the most I had. So this one seems like it's on pretty good trajectory. I know when I was looking at the stats, it's like it's on like something like 18, 19 different playlists with a bunch of followers. Apparently, we got listeners all over that are feeling it. So I know that for me is actually one of my favorite songs that I've done in you know the past couple of years. So
yeah, dude, that whole song is that shit's a vibe. I really liked how I honestly it was funny too because like when I started going through your beats on Spotify, I heard that beat and I'm like, okay, I can vibe with this. And then when you said I've actually got something over this, blah blah blah, do you want to collab on it? I was like, even easier. I don't have to write that much.
hell yeah.
So and then I still ended up writing what feels like 32 fucking bars in a 16 bar spot, you know what I mean? Just with the way I rapped it.
I love doing that. It feels like a lot of my raps are 32 bars these days.
Dude.
But yeah, I had that verse written, and I do that a lot of times. I put a beat I make so many beats and I like a beat and I'll write a verse to it and I just never record it and I just put the beat out. And then like sometimes when someone who I'm like, I've listened to your music before I said that. Obviously, I heard what you had to put out when we had you on the show and you were talking about your shit. I went and looked at it. So I was like, yo, I can do a fucking verse on this. That's why I said I could, because if it was anybody else, I probably wouldn't have. But I figured that verse I had after you said that you like that beat, I looked at the verse and I rapped it again, and I'm like, oh, this would be fire if I laid it down. So I laid it down and sent it over, and that was that. Pretty much, it became that song. Live Resin, which is just basically going off about shit. So yeah, check out Live Resin. It's on Spotify, which is my favorite place to listen, but it's also on Apple. It's everywhere, YouTube, whatever. So yeah, that for me is one of my favorite, most popular songs, which just happens to be with you. So it's good that we get to mention it and talk about it a little bit.
I was actually going through my my Spotify for artists, so that way I could actually get you like an accurate like what are my popular songs.
Yeah.
So I have Jaw Hit off of my Dream Still album at about 1.9K streams.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that is a song called No Hook at about 835. Clearly, I mean, I got some decent fans. We got a decent fan base, but the stream's not really up there. They're not no 7,000.
Right. Well, part of that is, like I said, it's I think the biggest thing for pushing a song, especially on Spotify or on Apple or whatever, is playlist placement. And if you and it costs money. You have to invest in your fucking career if you want to get anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know who's gonna fucking hear the song and then who's gonna hear it, where it might end up. So I feel like if you, and people will ask me this sometimes, like, what do you think I should invest and shit like that? And I always tell them, like, if you have the extra money, and you don't want to spend that much, $20 to $50 a month, you could get a lot from that, whether it's exposure from ads on Google, which in turn is YouTube, and, ads to Facebook to push whatever you're trying to push, whether it's likes to your page or, your content. I feel like investing in your career is only the best thing that you can do at this point, because like we talked about earlier, there's a lot of people out there. So sometimes it's hard to stand out even when you have a good product. But I feel like if you're making money on your career in any way, whether it's from streams or live shows or whatever, you should always take like half of that and try to put it back into your brand or whatever you're trying to push. That's just like a good rule of thumb. And I'm not talking about like constantly investing the money you're making from working a 9-to-5, which you can do that too. I'm talking about if you're really out there getting it and you just take the money you got from your show, say you got $50, $100 from a show or something, you just take half of that and you throw that at promo in any way, shape or form. I feel like that's a good move. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to people who are out there doing that. People who invest in their fucking careers get further than people who don't. I think that is a fact.
Truth.
Regardless if they're major label artists or not. If they're not investing, the label is. You know what I'm saying? So it's one or the other. You have to do it because you're competing with them, really. But yeah. So typically we talk about random discussion right now. But yeah, I don't know. We covered a lot of the topics that we normally would talk about with random discussion, but is there any like legendary stories that you might have, like from music related fucking shows, any legendary? I know last week we had somebody talk about like a fight that broke out at one of the shows that they did that turned into something that on last week's episode.
Career changing move though.
Yeah, it was. Do you have anything like that? Any crazy fucking stories where you've been out on the road in shows, or even if it's not anything to do with music, or anything like that?
Let's see. So I did open for Montana 300 a couple years back.
Yeah.
And it was a lit actually, it was February 2018. I remember that. So the show was lit. It was dope. But my buddy that came with me, because we actually ended up renting a van and bringing like a whole bunch of people with us. Mm-hmm. Somebody that my boy had issues with, who was also at that show, I guess his girl ended up getting kicked out because of some crazy shit. I have no idea. But my boy saw it all, drunk, mind you, pointed and laughed. And the dude saw him, looked at him, and just went right after his girl instead because his girl was getting kicked the fuck out. That's honestly the only really crazy thing I have. Other than that, if anything crazy happened, it ended up in beef after, and I honestly cannot talk about that on stream.
Yeah, 0 to 100. No, so obviously we like to smoke a little bit of weed too. So like, what are your thoughts on weed, and how is the weed situation out there in Massachusetts? Is it rather easy to get weed, and is it rather costly if you're a rec patient? Like, what's the typical prices looking like out there?
It literally took me 15 minutes to get this weed today at the dispensary. That and the dispensary, I want to say, is about 15 minutes away from my house.
Yeah. So
it was pretty convenient. Yeah.
That's good. I got a dispensary that's like 5 minutes from my house, and it never takes 15 minutes to get in and out of there. So I think I'm doing all right, but I don't really go there often. I got a caregiver that I like to fuck with. It gets me to better shit anyway.
No doubt.
So the shit out here, like I'm paying like probably $25-$30 a gram for the dabs that I smoke to a caregiver. So pretty decent.
Wish.
Yeah, pretty decent prices out here.
No doubt.
But I have my med card, so I know that if I was getting wrecked, it would be a little bit more. So for sure. Yeah. But yeah, we got dispensaries out here too that have just popped up all over the fucking place and have driven. I mean, they're really pushing weed in the black market too, man. It's crazy how many like pop up fucking delivery services there are, and how much
how
many places that you can just like. I mean, there's delivery all over the place, and you don't really know. Like, they won't check. I've had shit delivered to me before, and they ain't checking nothing. They're like, "Hey, what's up? Boom, here's your weed. Bye." You know, it's like, yo,
damn.
But yeah, and for a while, I ran a weed delivery, service when I was before I had left to go out to Phoenix. That was I was just raking in dough, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was something that had turned from me working for someone else to just like I took over, and I was doing it, and I had no choice in a way. It was like that was my job, and the guy was like, "We're not going to do it anymore. So if you want to do it, do it." And I'm like, all right, I'm doing it. So like, take the fucking phone. You got all the contacts now. If they call you, they're going to be talking to you, and you just handle it. Here's all the fucking product too. I'm like, damn. So what other option do I have at that point? And it turned into a good thing. I mean, one point, there's money to be made out here, man. One point, I mean, I was raking in probably $5,000 a fucking week. So the money to be had out here, and that's why there's a lot of pop-up places that pop up. And I feel like we have regulation, but it's not really good. And it's like they say they want regulation, but when we get regulation, they're not really cracked down on shit, which I don't mind. But it's like, if you're going to say you want regulation, actually do it. And if you're not going to have the regulations, then let's just have a free fucking an open market about it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Fuck that. You got shit at your fucking house. You're growing and you want to fucking sell it to so-and-so. You shouldn't have to fucking have a license, blah, blah, blah. One or the other. That's my fucking idea. I feel like they're just playing like to these conglomerates and people with lots of money who can afford these permits and all this other shit, and the little guy doesn't get a goddamn thing, unless you know somebody. And it's like that's how I feel like capitalism works that way, and I feel like it shouldn't apply to fucking weed. Weed shouldn't be capitalized upon.
Hell no. I mean, if it was man-made, then yes, but
free the weed. Lucifer is gonna fucking have you drop some bars on this track. Bars.
So I did send you a couple of songs to play.
Oh yeah.
Plus I have a new one that just came out on Friday as well.
That's right. Every Friday.
Yep.
Friday. Yeah. So anything else? What's going on with? I wanted to ask you this, but you were a little late to the party. What's going on with Myanmar? I know there's some protesters out there have been getting shot and killed and shit like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that shit's going crazy over there.
Right. I think yesterday, maybe the day before, it was the highest death count. I guess there was 7 protesters that were shot and killed. They are starting to detain people now over there. And they they're bringing up that leader they deposed. They're bringing her up on more charges, bogus stuff that she took, $600K and, kickbacks or whatever. They're just trying to, throw shit at the wall to see what sticks. But yeah, they are not easing. It's not going to be a regime that lays down. But look at that, 39.
Yeah, 39
Jesus.
reported killed as Chinese factories burn.
Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, that's what's happening there. So yeah, Chinese staff were injured and trapped in arson attacks that happened to Chinese property and citizens. So what they don't like the Chinese? Is that what's happening over there?
The Chinese don't like them.
Chinese
Right.
don't
If I'm
like,
correct.
and they're trying to force them out or some shit like that, right?
Yeah, I think there was mention that the United States and some of the other allies were like talking about maybe helping.
Discussions.
So I know China is like they want to pretty much just go in and take over. And I don't know if the military leaders there are like cool with that or if they want, a piece of the pie for themselves, but it's a really fucked up situation over there right now.
Yeah, damn, that's crazy. To have that happening in this day and age is just fucking ridiculous. And shout out to them. Hopefully they figure that shit out. And America's a bunch of fucking scum. We can't step in, you know what I'm saying? But we're giving money to all these other fucking places and shit. Like we're doing deals with China. China's pushing in on them. We're working with them. It's like, hey, we're working with them. Say something. You know what I'm saying? Be like, what the fuck's going on in Myanmar? Let's bring that shit back. You want to deal with us? You can take that shit out of there. Some shit. And we don't do shit. We're just like, whatever. It's Myanmar. They'll figure it out. No, I think we should step in like we step in with all the other shit that we don't care about. Might as well step in, right? We do everything else.
Pretty much.
I mean, we got the whole pandemic on our hands, so I don't know if that's ever going to happen. It's shitty to say that, but it's the truth.
What about Italy fucking going back into lockdown? You hear about that?
Yeah, some shit's going on over there. I don't know if they got one of those variant strains or whatever, if they got their own. But yeah, shit's going backwards.
Yeah, so they're preparing for widespread lockdown on Monday.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they enjoyed the last weekend outdoors before 3/4 of the population enters a strict lockdown on Monday. A more contagious variant, first identified in the UK, combined with a slow vaccine rollout, led to a 15% increase in cases in Italy last week, a worrisome picture for the government. So lack of good vaccination over there, and a lot of people just getting out and like thinking life is cool, to get back to it. And, everybody's getting vaccinated, but not you. Whatever.
All right.
Shit happens. I mean, it does happen. But the thing about it is that their vaccine rollout, from what I heard and what I was listening to and watching, was it was very slow in the beginning. And I thought ours was slow, but theirs was way, way, way worse. So hopefully they can just catch up with that. And this is just a little bit of a spike for them. They go into this lockdown and, because you hate to see that when it doesn't just affect them now at this point. You know what I'm saying? It does have a global effect, as we've seen. So our cases are on the downward trend. I've been watching the graph continue to drop and not go back up, which is a good sign. But yeah, you do wonder how much of that escape out of there, and then what do these variants mean for future vaccinations is another good fucking question too. We don't know. They say it's good, but how the fuck do we know for real until we actually have to deal with it?
Exactly.
But like I said, I'm going to take the fucking dive when they tell me May 1st you can get your vaccine. Where do I camp out to get mine is what I'm going to be asking, because I want to get out and start doing shit. I got, the 4K camera setups. Like I need to start making videos. I need to start doing music videos. I need to start shooting just footage. And I can't do that if I'm not vaccinated and I'm stuck in the fucking house all the time. So I think that's a good step for me to get out at least. I know that everybody's different, but for me and my fam, that's what we got to do is get vaccinated. The kids won't have one till after summer, but I think that they'll be all right. But I got to get around out here. There's so much shit here in Maine to get out and see. There's a bunch of lighthouses, a bunch of shit I got to get shots of. And I was hoping to use at least part of this summer to do that. And so vaccine good steps in the right way. Not for Italy, but for us, obviously, we're doing all right with it. So far, so good, I guess. Better than it was before, I think. But yeah, so we talked about new releases. So we already talked about you putting out a song every Friday. For the whole year, we have 2 extra Fridays this year, so you get an extra content, right?
Yes, sir.
So everybody who wants to, check out Libsy and what he's about, we got some songs that is one of them unreleased, you said? Hasn't come out yet?
Two of them actually. Two of them that I sent you in the two in the email that I sent you are unreleased. Yeah. There's actually a specific order to play them in because one's going to be way more hype and it's way better to just play that one at the end. But if you want to play live resin for everybody, so that way they can hear that first.
Yeah.
And then we can jump into the new song that I dropped on Spotify, and then we can go to the unreleased stuff from there.
All right. Yeah. So let me see if I can get my Gmail to load up here.
I was gonna say because I know I'm trying to jam out the live resin right now.
All right, so let me get my Gmail loaded up, then I'll play live resin. All right, so we got they have to be played in a specific order. So which one's first? Besides live resin?
12. 12 is gonna be first, and then the other one. Don't even say the title of the other one, just because that's actually part 5 in a series that I have. I'm going to stop it at 6, but I'll talk about that later.
Okay. All right. Then in that case, let me just get live resin going here. All right. I'm going to play it, and I'm just going to mute you guys while we play it so that we just don't get any feedback or anything.
Yep.
All right. Live resin by me and Libsy.
I am now listening to a prophet.
Smoking till I overdose. I'm blowing clouds with the Holy Ghost. Keith Blunt make it comatose. Got imports, get it from the coast. I don't mean to boast, but I do the most. When we break bread, I'ma make it toast. Eat a dick, bitch, I'm the host. You can check the status like a fucking post. Big money like I'm Rockefeller. If you think you big, I'm a Rockefeller. Been underground like a Rockefeller. If the drugs are bad, then I rock the cellar. Been magic like Penn and Teller. My competition like Helen Keller. Stay getting cheddar, that mozzarella. I'm eating good and I'm living better. I'm smoking good, that live resin. It's Wushy Gang, I'm a die reppin'. My opposition won't find heaven, cause I'm popping off like a live weapon. Take you to school, here's my lesson. Harder than some curry, you can call me Stephen. Harder than some curry, boy, you know I'm chefing. I'm finna blow, I'm Johnny Deppin'. Like skirt, skirt, spin around the block, bustin' minutes talk, finna make him drop. He ain't breathing right, bust another shot, no witnesses, we ain't getting caught. These twin swords coming with the chop. Libsy and obese finna pop. Don't like 12, fuck a city cop. We moving different, ain't getting by.
I wanna touch the sky, my friend. Come on, let's go get high, my friend. Live resin inside my pen. Dabs, damn, I'm high again. I wanna touch the sky, my friend. Come on, let's go get high, my friend. Live resin inside my pen. Dabs, damn, I'm high again. I wanna touch the sky, my friend. Come on, let's go get high, my friend. Live resin inside my pen. Dabs, damn, I'm high again. I wanna touch the sky, my friend. Come on, let's go get high, my friend. Live resin inside my pen. Dabs, damn, I'm high again. Major label dude, top shelf is hella proper. Dabs in my bags, all gas, no helicopters. Update your status, sit back and forget the madness. These streets are full of addicts who stay shooting up the magic. We ain't talking Lakers, son, we just talking fakers, huh? This industry is actors, the media distract us. Don't shoot, just ask for help, refute the truth and live to tell. I'm doing good and living well, I disappeared like Dave Chappelle. Thanks for asking, no more slacking, just me laughing, cracking jokes, dabs and smoke while I'm relaxing, but I keep my clientele. Which way's heaven or live in hell? An atheist if you couldn't tell. I don't believe in either or, so tell me who is bleeding more. I'm hungry for this knowledge, and yeah, I'm always seeking more. Teaching and increasing your capacity for peace and war. Yes, I made this beat Now hurry up and feed me more. My open eyes are seeing more. What the fuck am I even speaking for? I wanna touch the sky, my friend. Come on, let's go get high, my friend. Live resin inside my pen. Damn, I'm high again. I wanna touch the sky, my friend. Come on, let's go get high, my friend. Live resin inside my pen. Damn, I'm high again. I wanna touch the sky, my friend. Come on, let's go get high, my friend. Live resin inside my pen. Damn, I'm high again. I wanna touch the sky, my friend. Come on, let's go get high, my friend. Live resin inside my pen. Damn, I'm high again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Bars.
yeah. My favorite bars from that is when I said, which way's heaven? A living hell. An atheist, if you couldn't tell. I don't believe in either or, so tell me who is bleeding more. I'm hungry for this knowledge, and yeah, I'm always seeking more. Teaching and increasing your capacity for peace and war. That whole fucking setup right there was just like fire for me when I hit that shit right.
Facts, you know? That shit was dope.
For me, that was my favorite part of the verse, and obviously the hook is just the hook. I came up with that part while I was just doing a dab, and I was like looking up different kinds of processes for making live resin, and live resin was in my fucking head because that's all I pretty much smoke, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm just gonna but yeah, so let's move on. I'm gonna try to play 12. I noticed you sent me MP.
I was gonna say I mentioned in my bag that song that dropped on Spotify on Friday.
Yeah.
That song and then 12. My fault.
Gotcha. All right, so did you send that one to me too?
No, I didn't. I just figured you were on Spotify. You could just, my bad.
I don't think the stream, and I mean, Hero always says this, and I've never tried, but he said you can't play shit on fucking Spotify on the stream. I've never tried. I could try.
Yeah,
but
there's probably some copyright bullshit.
If you want to send it to me, you could do that.
My shit isn't copied. You'll be able to find it on YouTube. If you type in Libsy in my bag, it'll come up as the topic thingy.
Okay, hold on. YouTube.com. Let's go topic. All right, let me grab it here real quick.
I was gonna say I know there's a loop. I knew there was a loophole around Spotify.
All right, I got it. All right, in my bag, perfect. This is the way to do it.
That's actually the picture. I actually took that that cover art for that. That's a picture of Boston that I took on the way to the show that I did with Hero a couple weeks ago.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I think this is gonna start sharing in a second. Right here. All right, skip this ad and let it play. Yeah, I listened to this on Spotify too, by the way.
I fuck with this. I like this whole vibe.
Being exclusive.
All right, I'm gonna mute you.
Yeah, I'm in my bag. I got the drip, I got the sauce, I got the mag. It's on my hip, watch it go off. Popping shots while I'm at the top. It's like a meteor when it's about to drop. I'm a cataclysm when I hit the spot. We cooking up while the block is hot, bitch. I'm in my bag. I got the drip, I got the sauce, I got the mag. It's on my hip, watch it go off. Popping shots while I'm at the top. It's like a meteor when it's about to drop. I'm a cataclysm when I hit the spot. We cooking up while the block is hot, bitch. I got the juice, like I'm Tupac. I be in the city, it's really no biggie. Shout out to BX, get richer, that's trying like 50. My shooter named Ricky, he pull out the blicky. Yeah, Ricky, make sure you never gon' hit me. You pull up on me, it's about to get shitty. You run DMC and it's about to get tricky. Rhyme tighter than some paracord. I'm a god killer with a necro sword. Move quiet like a teleport. I spit crap, now selling more. Capture magic when I press record. I'm riding dirty, trying to wreck a Ford. Me and my goon squad up just like the Power Rangers with the Megazord. Real talk, I'm in an odd position cause I'm getting bored of killing opposition. They taking shots, but they never hitting my mind. Stone never kill division. Shen Ron, boy, I got them wishing they never started, wanna reposition. Moving dirty in the expedition, this a new edition of the Inquisition. Take a deposit straight out of your wallet, just fucking run all of your pockets. You don't even walk it, you can't even talk it. Like homie, you sweet as a whatchamacallit. I'm fly as a comet, blast off like a rocket. I'm finna be slapping you up like a puppet. You rapping for profit, I rap like a prophet. Just stop it, you not even part of the topic, bitch. I'm in my bag, I got the drip, I got the sauce, I got the mag. It's on my hip, watch it go off. Popping shots while I'm at the top. It's like a meteor when it's about to drop. I'm a cataclysm when I hit the spot. We cooking up while the block is hot, bitch. I'm in my bag, I got the drip, I got the sauce, I got the mag. It's on my hip, watch it go off. Popping shots while I'm at the top. It's like a meteor when it's about to drop. I'm a cataclysm when I hit the spot. We cooking up while the block is hot, bitch.
Word. So that's a whole vibe. Hold on. Muted. Unmute. Yeah, so that's a whole vibe, right?
Nice.
So like that beat when I first made it, it was kind of like my take on like a Blueface kind of beat. And then I wrapped my own thing on it and I was like, this sounds way better.
I was gonna say that's definitely like a Bluefacey type beat. He loves those just straight piano beats like that.
Facts.
Yeah, so that one's dope. Everybody go check that out. If you got Spotify, make sure you like save the tracks, follow the artist. That's a great way to keep up with everything that's coming out.
If you fuck with the music, share it too. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with your pastor. Share it with your fucking guidance counselor. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, sharing is caring, and it's free to do. So that's one of the biggest things that you can do for somebody, an artist or whatever that you support, or even if you just like one fucking song, share it. You never know who's gonna hear it, and it's always good for the artist to get that share. So, yeah, shout out to the sharers out there who fucking share what they're supposed to share.
Yes.
Let's move on, and I think we got those couple unreleased ones right now.
Yes, sir.
First one called 12. You sent me M4 A files. I'm not really sure what the hell that is.
That's from his phone, man.
That's from his phone, but no, through Google Drive.
Yeah, it's an Apple file format.
Oh, actually, I'm on Android.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They use M4As?
I guess I sent it directly from BandLab. I sent it directly from BandLab.
Shout out to Lucifer.
Right,
sharing that shit already.
Let's just click it. It's working.
This is a Whooshie Gang exclusive.
I get this feeling when I hear the instrumental. Bass buzzing through my temple. The flow is presidential. Yeah. I get this feeling when I hear the instrumental. Late night vibe, bass buzzing through my temple. The votes are in and the flow is presidential. We got stopped by 12 for the smoke inside the rental. I get this feeling when I hear the instrumental. Late night vibe, bass buzzing through my temple. The votes are in and the flow is presidential. We got stopped by 12 for the smoke inside the rental. Puffin' marijuana that be greener than iguana. I been turning up the heat, my ops are sweating like a sauna. We ain't fucking with no youngins that be only causing drama. So we stuff them in a body bag and ship them to their mama. Cause I'm higher than giraffe pussy, I'm overheads. I ain't fucking with designer if somebody know the threads. I'm a killer in my own right and I can show the creds. Got a broke man mentality, you fighting over bread. I'm a straight killer in the booth when I spit. You sell the dope in my city, you need your neck slit quick. And if you disagree, homie, you can suck on my dick. Cause I just lost another homie who was shooting that shit, and that's real life, so don't you ever get it twisted. I'm a misfit on the mic, this ain't a movie, never scripted. Monster in the rap game, a literary cryptid boy. I'm mystic with the pen game, an honorary whiz kid. I get this feeling when I hear the instrumental. Late night vibe, bass buzzing through my temple. The votes are in and the flow is presidential. We got stopped by 12 for the smoke inside the rental. I get this feeling when I hear the instrumental. Late night vibe, bass buzzing through my temple. The votes are in and the flow is presidential. We got stopped by 12 for the smoke inside the rental.
Yo, hold on. You know what my favorite part of that song is? Well, it's everything. I'm gonna say that. But it's that there's only one verse on it, so I already know what that means. I already know what that means. You gotta send me that beat, fam.
The
That
remix.
that right there is is right up my alleyway. That's like right up something I would just absolutely fucking murder, and topic wise too. It's just right up my fucking alley. So you already know what to do with that.
I got you.
You're fire. But yeah. Justin, what do you think of that one compared to like? What
I like the beat. That's my style of beat, kind of laid back. Yep, I fuck with.
I made that. Funny enough, I made that beat like months ago, dude. Like
really,
like mid quarantine, and I just recently wrote over it and fucking. I was like, this is how I'm feeling. This is the vibe I'm getting. So
yeah,
I just wrote that in like literally a day, and fucking recorded it the next day.
Freestyle and descriptive writing where you could like picture yourself being somewhere. I love doing that.
Right.
In the picture for people to peek inside your mind real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got one more that we're gonna play.
So before you mention the name of the song, I'm gonna preface this. I'm gonna preface this real quick. So I dropped a mixtape a while back. The title of the mixtape was "Stay in Drugs, Don't Do School," and I used this YouTube beat for this song called Penelope. Now, Penelope ended up being one of my most popular songs because the bass on that song fucking hits so fucking hard. It ended up just being a really popular song when I performed it. So I ended up deciding, you know what? Let's do a sequel to it. Let's do a part 2 to this. Yeah. And I ended up making a song called Church of Penelope, which was on my first actual like self-produced album. The bass on that ended up fucking hitting heavy too. So I was like, all right, cool. This is a good trend I'm getting. So next album comes Dream Still. I end up releasing Killer Penelope Part 3. That song and another one, it just kept being a trend of like really good songs going forward. Just recently I released Penelope Fore, which was a completely different vibe. It was more of like a clubby vibe, you know what I mean? More of like an energetic vibe, while all the previous 3 were like a lot heavier, a lot darker, a lot more like kind of like a little quicker rapping and whatnot. I brought it back for this one. And this one, I'm doing this one and one more, and then I'm done with them. I'm done with the Penelope tracks. This one's called Cult of Penelope. And then the last one's going to be Curse of Penelope. I already figured it out. And I figured my high ass would slip up and say it at some point anyway, so I figured I'd knowingly say it now.
So I love it when there's a story behind shit and things are set up. And it seems like you like to do that shit. You set up 54 weeks. You got these like things, and you're doing singles, which some people are like, I don't like singles. I fucks with singles though. I'm on single game now. I used to be thinking about album this, album that, but all it takes is one song. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it nowadays. So it's like, great idea. Just put fucking singles out. And then eventually, if you got 10 singles, maybe a couple unreleased in there, boom, throw them together, make an album out of that. That's kind of my plan, my game plan. But I like your setup too, man. That's always thinking ahead, kind of planning things out, not just blindly doing it. I think is a good way to approach it.
And see, what I also plan on doing is, because I've already dropped 3 different Dream albums. I've dropped Dream Still, and then Dream 3. I plan on dropping Dream Forever at the end of the year in November, because I usually release the last weekend in November. And then that's actually going to be the last Dream album that I do, and then I'm going to actually move away from those as well. And I'm going to actually start, doing different things and start basically. Kind of funny that Obese brought up the rebranding that he was talking about earlier. Me and him were talking about it earlier. Fucking, I'm actually going to be basically rebranding quote unquote the album titles and whatnot. I'm gonna not, instead of being at like fucking album number 5 and mixtape number 10, like I'm gonna switch up the names now, and I'm actually gonna be like, you know, making different project titles and whatnot instead of being like, you know, because I do a mixtape series called Catacombs. I'm going on to Catacombs 9 instead of doing like Catacombs 40 fucking 7. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to keep it going like that. You know what I mean? I'm trying to switch it up. So
same.
Yeah,
I got the
for sure.
that I'm doing, the instrumental drops that I'm doing, and like I know that eventually I'm gonna maybe stop doing the beat reports and just switch it up and do something else. But for now, I'm working on 5, so I'm thinking maybe I get to 10 beat reports and then I switch it up and start calling it something different. But it's still gonna be the same. You know, it's still gonna be instrumentals for people that I like to put out. It puts my legacy out there. To be able to have a bunch of beats that are up on Spotify and Apple and everywhere else on YouTube and everything, with just a push of a button. I love it. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into this Cult of Penelope song, the last from Libsy. After this, I'm just gonna basically close everybody's stuff out, play the outro video, and we're done. So right now, if you want to give a shout out to anybody, last shout outs before I play the song, whatever, now would be the time to do that.
let's say I'm gonna give a shout out to the rest of the Wishy gang. Whether or not they're watching or not, fuck it, you'll watch this at some point because I'm gonna send you the video, bitch. Shout out to Still Ill in New Bedford. My boy Lionel running that shit. His spot, the communal space in New Bedford, doing dope shit for the community in regards to hip hop and self-expression and shit like that. So I also want to give a shout out to my wife in the other room who is keeping my mom company, who came over to visit, and I'm over here doing this podcast. Being a real one.
All right, let's get into it.
I know what we're gonna do today. We're gonna start a cult.
This is the cult of Penelope, drinking the punch is the remedy. Fuck with you chemically, we do not fuck with the recipe. Pines all making a lemonade. Check out the chemistry, but you're my whole different pedigree. All of you feeling some jealousy. Shot to the head like a Kennedy. Molly, I'm gonna be shooting the sheriff and deputy. This is the cult of Penelope, drinking the punch is the remedy. Fuck with you chemically, we do not fuck with the recipe. Pines all making a lemonade. Check out the chemistry, but you're my whole different pedigree. All of you feeling some jealousy. Shot to the head like a Kennedy. Molly, I'm gonna be shooting the sheriff and deputy. I don't need my own fire. I'm bringing daggers to the club. Put the blade up to their neck until they fucking show me love. I got homies pulling up, they finna hit you with the snub. They the type to hit you up and then go run off on the plug. I got demons and they scheming on my dreaming. Anybody fuck around, they having problems with their breathing. First we had the church and now the cult, you catch the demon. I'm a motherfucking god and anything I made I'm keeping. I got sacrificial weapons hanging in the corridor. Blades, knives, daggers trying to cut out what I saw in ya. Tip a bag up and send the body to the coroner. We don't even speak the same, you talking like a foreigner. What's the motive, bitch? I'm here for devastation. I was sent to Earth by Lucifer to start the invasion. We're taking over countries, you are not in the equation. What's another body just to fix the overpopulation? This is the cult of Penelope, drinking the punch is the remedy. Fuck with you chemically, we do not fuck with the recipe. Pines all making a lemonade. Check out the chemistry, but you're my whole different pedigree. All of you feeling some jealousy. Shot to the head like a Kennedy. Molly, I'm gonna be shooting the sheriff and deputy. This is the cult of Penelope, drinking the punch is the remedy. Fuck with you chemically, we do not fuck with the recipe. Pines all making a lemonade. Check out the chemistry, but you're my whole different pedigree. All of you feeling some jealousy. Shot to the head like a Kennedy. Molly, I'm gonna be shooting the sheriff and deputy.
All right, that's the show. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Want to give one last shout out to Libsy for showing up. I'm going to unmute you so we can hear you.
Hey.
Thanks for showing up. Thanks for giving us a great show, man. And yeah, we're going to continue to work together and continue to build. And we got a music video we're going to do for Live Resin. I know that for a goddamn fact. So
absolutely.
Comes out, we're going to drop it and push it all over the place. And it's going to be dope as fuck because we're going to shoot it in 4K. So it's going to be dope as shit. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And also check us out. Check your show out on Tuesdays. That's called What's Beef, which is at what time? Let them know what time, where to find it.
You can find it on the Bars Over Bars channel on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. You can also find it streaming on my Facebook, not my Facebook, but my YouTube page, which is just Libsy. What's Beef? We do a versus style battle. We pick me and my co-host, The Sentenced, pick 5 songs from different local artists, and we just smash them together and see which songs we like better. It's a dope little battle, not to incite any beef, but we do like to it's just for the love of hip hop. We just like to see what songs we like better, and usually we end up being fans of the artists afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a dope show for sure. So check that out. Then check out Wednesday. They do the review show also. And then Thursday, I do Beats Over Beats with Nick Lovin. And Friday, they got, what do they got Friday? What is that? Check the Recipe. I think Hero does, but they go over the bars. They break down bars. He has guests on and do that.
And a one shot on Saturday, right?
Night they do one shot little live show, and I also do the cook up Saturday nights at 6 o'clock, where I do the live beat session for like a half hour, whatever. And then of course Sundays at 8 you can join us here. So yeah, thanks for joining us. It was a great time, Libsy, man, and we'll be in touch, bro. All right,
of course. I'll talk to you soon, brother.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
Nice talking to you, Justin.